Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, wherever you are, whether you are at home, driving, resting, or getting ready to sleep. Thank you for spending this time with me. Today, we begin a journey through the very first chapter of the Bible. It is a story that has been shared for thousands of years, a story that has brought hope, wonder, and peace to millions of people around the world. Maybe this is your first time reading the Bible. Maybe you've heard parts of this story before, but never stopped to think about what it really means. No matter where you are on your journey, you are welcome here. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to understand every verse. Just listen, one step at a time. Together we will discover the beginning of everything, not through difficult words or complicated ideas, but through the beautiful story found in Genesis chapter 1. As you watch these peaceful scenes, imagine yourself standing there. Feel the quiet. Watch the light appear. See the mountains rise. Listen to the rivers flow. Watch the birds soar through the sky. Stand in the beautiful garden where God walked with the first people. This story is not simply about how the world began. It is also about the one who created it. The Bible tells us that God is powerful, God is wise, God is loving. Everything He created was made with purpose. Nothing was an accident. Every mountain, every river, every flower, every bird, every star, and every person was created because God wanted them to exist. That includes you. Sometimes life becomes busy. Sometimes we forget to slow down. We rush from one day to the next, thinking about work, family, responsibilities, or tomorrow's worries. But for the next little while, let those worries rest. Take a slow, deep breath. Allow your heart to become still. Listen carefully and let these ancient words remind you that before there was fear, before there was pain, before there were problems, there was God. He has always been there. He has never changed. And He is still with us today. As we begin, don't worry about understanding everything. Simply listen, imagine, wonder, and allow this beautiful story to remind you that the God who created the heavens and the earth also knows your name. So, let us go back to the very beginning. Before the oceans, before the mountains, before the stars, before time itself, there was God. And this is where our story begins. Scene 1. In the beginning, Genesis 1:1-2. Before the mountains stood tall, before the rivers flowed, before the birds sang, before the stars filled the night sky, there was only God. Nothing else existed. There were no people, no animals, no forests, no oceans, no sun, no moon, no flowers, no sound. The world as we know it had not yet begun. The Bible opens with one of the most famous sentences ever written. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. These simple words tell us something very important. Everything has a beginning, but God does not. God was already there before time began. No one created Him, no one came before Him. He has always existed. He is eternal. Sometimes people ask, who made God? The Bible does not tell us that someone created God. Instead, it tells us that God has always been. He has no beginning, and He has no end. That is part of what makes Him different from everything else. At the beginning of creation, the earth was not yet the beautiful place we know today. There were no green forests, no colorful flowers, no peaceful rivers, no towering mountains. Genesis tells us that the earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered everything. Imagine standing in complete darkness. You cannot see the ground beneath your feet. You cannot see the sky above you. There is no light, no sound, no movement, only silence. Yet, even in that darkness, God was there. The Bible says that the Spirit of God was moving over the waters. God was not confused. He was not surprised by the darkness. Everything was exactly as He intended. Creation had not yet unfolded. It was about to begin. God already knew every mountain that would rise, every ocean that would sparkle in the sunlight, every tree that would grow, every bird that would fly, every animal that would walk across the land, every person who would one day be born. Even before the first ray of light appeared, God already knew His wonderful plan. Nothing was an accident. Everything would be created with wisdom, purpose, and love. As we continue this journey, remember this simple truth. The Bible begins with God. Before there was anything else, there was God. He was there in the beginning. He is here today, and He will always be. Now, The quiet darkness is about to change. God is about to speak, and when God speaks, everything changes. Let's continue the story. Scene 2. God said, "Let there be light." After the beginning, the earth was still empty and dark. There was no sunlight. There were no stars. There was no moon. Everything was covered in deep darkness. No one could see anything, but God was there. God was not afraid of the darkness. He had a wonderful plan. Then God spoke. He simply said, "Let there be light." The moment God spoke, light appeared. God did not need tools. He did not need many years. His word was enough. Where there had been darkness, there was now brilliant light. The light spread across everything. The sky became bright. The mountains could be seen. The valleys became clear. The rivers sparkled. The clouds shined with beautiful colors. Everything changed because God spoke. This was the very first light. God looked at the light. He saw that it was good. God loves what is good. The light was beautiful. It brought hope. It brought order. It showed the beginning of God's wonderful creation. Then God separated the light from the darkness. The light became day. The darkness became night. Now there was a rhythm. Morning would come. Evening would come. Day and night would follow one another. Everything was happening exactly as God planned. The Bible teaches us something very important here. Sometimes our lives can also feel dark. We may feel afraid. We may feel lonely. We may not know what will happen next. But God is never afraid of darkness. Just as He spoke light into the world, He can bring light into our hearts. His word gives us hope. His word gives us peace. His word helps us find the right way. Jesus later said, "I am the light of the world." When we follow Him, we do not have to stay in darkness. God's light shows us His love, His truth, and His kindness. The first words recorded from God in creation remind us that nothing is impossible for Him. When God speaks, things change. Darkness becomes light, confusion becomes peace, fear becomes hope. God's power is greater than anything in this world, and all of creation began with these simple but powerful words, "Let there be light." God looked at the light. He smiled because it was good, and this was only the beginning of the beautiful world He was creating. Scene 3. God made day and night. Now the world was filled with light. The darkness was gone. The beautiful light that God had created spread across the earth. God looked at the light. It was bright. It was warm. It was beautiful. Then God gave everything its proper place. He separated the light from the darkness. The bright time became day. The dark time became night. This was not an accident. Everything happened according to God's perfect plan. During the day, the earth would be filled with light. People would one day work, learn, grow, and enjoy God's wonderful creation. Flowers would open. Trees would stretch toward the sunlight. Animals would search for food. Birds would sing joyful songs. The world would become full of life. Then evening would come. The sky would slowly change its colors. Bright blue would become soft orange. Orange would become deep purple. Finally, the darkness of night would gently cover the earth. The stars would shine like tiny diamonds. The moon would softly light the night sky. Many animals would rest peacefully. Others would quietly wake and move through the darkness. Night was never meant to be something to fear. It was another beautiful gift from God. The quiet night gives rest. The bright day gives strength. Together they make a perfect rhythm for life. The Bible says, "There was evening and there was morning, the first day." This was the end of the very first day of creation. God had begun building a wonderful world. Everything was happening exactly as He planned. Nothing was forgotten. Nothing was out of place. Every moment had a purpose. This reminds us that God is a God of order. He is never confused. He never makes mistakes. He knows exactly what He is doing. Sometimes our own lives feel busy. Some days are filled with joy. Other days are difficult. Sometimes we have bright mornings. Sometimes we walk through dark nights. But God is with us in both. He is with us when the sun shines. He is with us when the stars appear. He watches over us during the day. He protects us through the night. The writer of Psalm 121 says, "The Lord watches over you. He never sleeps. He never grows tired." While we rest, God continues to care for His creation. Every sunrise reminds us that God is faithful. Every sunset reminds us that He is still in control. Every new morning is another gift from Him. As we watch the sky change from day to night, we remember that our Creator is wise, powerful, and full of love. The first day of creation came to its peaceful end, and God's wonderful work had only just begun. Scene 4. God made the sky, approximately 3 to 4 minutes. Easy English, Shash, audiobook style. The first day had come to an end. There had been evening, and there had been morning. Now, God continued his wonderful work. The earth was becoming more beautiful, but there was still something missing. God wanted to prepare a perfect home for all the living creatures he would soon create. Then God spoke again. His powerful voice filled creation. God made the sky. The great space above the earth stretched from one horizon to the other. It was wide. It was open. It was beautiful. The blue sky spread like a giant blanket over the whole world. Soft white clouds floated gently across it. The air became calm and peaceful. The sky separated the waters below from the waters above. Everything was exactly where God wanted it to be. Nothing was out of place. Everything followed his perfect design. When we look into the sky today, we still see God's wonderful work. On a clear morning, the sky shines with a deep blue color. Sometimes white clouds slowly drift across it. Sometimes the clouds become large and bright as they reflect the sunlight. Sometimes gentle rain falls from the sky to water the earth. Every cloud, every breeze, every drop of rain reminds us that God cares for his creation. The sky is more than empty space. It is part of God's beautiful design. Birds will one day fly through it. The sun will shine across it. The moon and stars will decorate it at night. The changing colors of sunrise and sunset will paint it with beauty every single day. God prepared all of this before creating people. He wanted the world to be ready. He wanted creation to be a wonderful home. This shows us something about God's love. God prepares good things before we even know we need them. He thinks ahead. He provides. He cares. Jesus later told his followers to look at the birds of the air. God feeds them every day. If God cares so much for the birds, how much more does he care for us? When we feel worried, we can simply look up. The sky reminds us that our Creator is still watching over the world. The same God who stretched out the heavens still holds our lives in his hands. Nothing is too difficult for him. Nothing is too great for his power. The beautiful blue sky above us quietly tells the story of God's wisdom, his creativity, and his endless love. As God looked across the sky he had made, he saw that everything was exactly as he had planned, and his work of creation continued, one beautiful step at a time. Scene 5. God made the sea and the land. The world was becoming more beautiful with each passing day. There was light, there was day and night. There was a great blue sky stretching over the earth, but the world was still covered with water. The land had not yet appeared. Then God spoke once again. His voice was full of power and wisdom. He said that the waters should gather together. Immediately the water began to move. Great waves rolled across the earth. Rivers flowed into one place. Lakes formed. The mighty oceans stretched farther than anyone could imagine. The sound of the water filled the world. Then something wonderful happened. Dry land appeared. Mountains rose high into the sky. Gentle hills covered the valleys. Wide plains stretched across the earth. Rocky cliffs stood beside the sea. Beautiful beaches formed where the waves gently touched the sand. Everything happened exactly as God had planned. Nothing was too large for him. Nothing was too difficult. God named the dry ground land. He called the gathered waters seas. When God looked at the oceans and the land, he saw that it was good. The sea sparkled under the sunlight. Gentle waves rolled toward the shore. Sometimes the sea would be calm and peaceful. At other times, strong waves would remind people of God's great power. The land was also beautiful. Tall mountains reached toward the sky. Deep valleys waited to be filled with forests and flowers. Rivers flowed through the countryside. Soon, trees would grow there. Animals would live there. People would one day build their homes there. God was preparing everything with great care. Nothing in creation was random. Every mountain, every island, every beach, every river, every ocean was placed exactly where God wanted it to be. Even today, when we stand beside the sea, we hear the sound of the waves. When we climb a mountain, we see the beauty of God's creation spread out before us. When we walk along a quiet beach, we are reminded of his amazing power. The Bible tells us that the heavens declare the glory of God. Nature points us to its creator. The oceans remind us that God's love is deep. The mountains remind us that His strength is unshakable. The rivers remind us that His blessings continue to flow. The earth itself tells the story of God's wisdom. Everything He made had a purpose. Everything He made reflected His goodness. Long before people lived on the earth, God was preparing a beautiful home for them. He wanted them to enjoy the beauty of His creation. He wanted them to know His love every time they looked around them. As God looked across the mountains, the valleys, the rivers, and the endless sea, He saw that everything was exactly as He had planned. And once again, God saw that it was good. Scene 6. God made plants, trees, and fruits. The earth was now ready. There was light. There was day and night. There was a beautiful blue sky. There were mountains, rivers, valleys, and the great sea. But the land was still empty. It needed life. It needed beauty. It needed color. Then God spoke once again. His powerful word filled the earth. Immediately, tiny green shoots began to appear. Fresh grass covered the fields. Soft moss grew beside the rivers. Wildflowers opened their colorful petals. The empty land became alive. Beautiful plants spread across the valleys. Bushes filled the hillsides. Tall trees reached toward the bright blue sky. Some trees stood strong with thick trunks. Others gently swayed in the breeze. Every leaf, every flower, every branch was created by God's perfect wisdom. The earth became a beautiful garden. Soon, fruit began to grow. Bright red apples hung from the branches. Sweet grapes formed in large clusters. Golden pears ripened in the warm sunlight. Many other fruits appeared across the land. Each fruit had its own shape, its own color, its own wonderful taste. God created seeds inside every plant and every tree. These seeds would grow into new plants again and again. God designed creation to continue bringing life. Everything followed His perfect plan. Nothing happened by chance. Every flower blooming in spring, every tree growing beside a river, every field covered with green grass, every delicious fruit hanging from its branch, all of it came from the loving hands of God. When God looked across the earth, He saw rivers flowing through green forests. He saw colorful flowers dancing in the gentle wind. He saw fruit hanging from healthy trees. The world was becoming more beautiful with every moment. God saw that it was good. Today, we still enjoy these wonderful gifts. When we smell a fresh flower, we remember God's creativity. When we rest under the shade of a large tree, we remember His care. When we eat sweet fruit, we remember His provision. God did not simply create a world where people could survive. He created a world full of beauty, full of color, full of wonderful things to enjoy. This tells us something important about God's heart. He is generous. He is kind. He loves to give good gifts. Every season reminds us of His faithfulness. In the spring, flowers bloom. In the summer, trees grow strong. In the autumn, fruit becomes ripe. Even in winter, God continues preparing for new life to come again. His care for creation never stops. Jesus later said, "I am the vine, you are the branches." Just as a branch receives life from the tree, our hearts receive life when we stay close to God. He helps us grow. He gives us strength. He fills our lives with good fruit, love, joy, peace, kindness, and faithfulness. As the gentle wind moved through the trees and the rivers flowed quietly across the land, God looked at His beautiful creation. Everything was growing. Everything was alive. Everything was exactly as He had planned. And once again, God saw that it was good. Scene 7. God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. The earth was becoming more beautiful every day. There was light. There was a blue sky. There were mountains, rivers, forests, flowers, and fruit trees. Now God continued His wonderful work. He wanted the world to have signs for time and seasons. Then God spoke once again. With His powerful word, the heavens became even more beautiful. God made 2 great lights. The greater light was the sun. The sun would shine brightly during the day. Its warm light would fill the earth. The sun would help plants grow. It would warm the land after cool nights. It would brighten the valleys, the mountains, the rivers, and the seas. Every sunrise would announce the beginning of a new day. Every sunset would gently bring the evening. Then God made the moon. The moon would quietly rule the night. Its soft light would shine over sleeping forests and peaceful rivers. Travelers would look up and find comfort in its gentle glow. The moon would remind people that even in darkness, God provides light. But God was not finished. He also filled the heavens with countless stars. Thousands upon thousands of tiny lights appeared across the night sky. Some stars shined brightly, others twinkled softly in the distance. Together they formed a breathtaking display that stretched farther than anyone could see. Each star was created by God. Each one was placed exactly where He wanted it to be. The Bible tells us that God knows every star by name. Imagine that. The Creator of the universe knows every single star. If He knows every star, how much more does He know each one of us? The sun, the moon, and the stars were not created by accident. They help us measure days, months, and seasons. Spring brings new flowers, summer brings warmth, autumn brings harvest, winter brings quiet rest. Year after year, God faithfully keeps the rhythm of His creation. Every morning the sun rises, every evening it sets, every month the moon changes its shape, every clear night the stars shine above us. God's faithfulness never changes. King David once looked up into the night sky and wrote, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands." When we stand outside on a clear night, we can see exactly what David saw. The beauty of the heavens points us to our Creator. It reminds us that God is powerful, wise, and full of wonder. Sometimes life feels uncertain. Sometimes we worry about tomorrow, but every sunrise reminds us that God has given us another day. Every sunset reminds us that He has cared for us once again. Every star reminds us that His promises are constant. Just as the heavens remain in their place, God remains faithful forever. As God looked across the bright sun, the peaceful moon, and the countless stars filling the heavens, He saw another part of His perfect creation. Everything was beautiful. Everything had a purpose. Everything reflected His glory. And once again, God saw that it was good. Scene 8. God filled the seas and the sky with living creatures. The world was becoming more beautiful every day. The land was covered with green trees. Flowers bloomed across the fields. Fruit grew on the branches. The mountains stood strong. The rivers flowed peacefully into the sea, but the oceans were still quiet. The skies were still empty. Then God spoke once again. His powerful voice brought life where there had been silence. The seas suddenly became full of living creatures. Tiny fish began to swim through the clear water. Large fish glided through the deep blue sea. Colorful fish moved together like dancing ribbons. Bright coral reefs became busy homes for countless sea creatures. Sea turtles slowly explored the ocean floor. Dolphins leapt joyfully above the waves. Great whales sang deep songs beneath the water. Every creature was different. Some were small, some were large, some moved quickly, others moved gently, yet every one of them was made by God's loving hands. Then God looked toward the sky. He filled the air with birds. Small birds fluttered through the trees. White doves flew peacefully above the valleys. Eagles soared high above the mountains. Seagulls glided over the sparkling sea. Their wings carried them through the fresh blue sky. Some birds sang beautiful songs each morning. Others built careful nests among the branches. Some traveled across great distances with changing seasons. God gave every bird exactly what it needed. Strong wings, sharp eyes, beautiful feathers, a joyful song. The world that had once been quiet was now full of life. The oceans sparkled with movement. The skies echoed with birds singing. Creation was beginning to celebrate its Creator. Then God did something wonderful. He blessed them. He said, "Be fruitful and increase in number." God wanted life to continue. He wanted the seas to be full. He wanted the skies to be filled with birds. His blessing brought abundance. This reminds us of God's generous heart. He is not a God of emptiness. He is a God of life. Where God works, life begins. Where God blesses, good things grow. Jesus later told His followers, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not plant seeds or store food in barns, yet their heavenly Father feeds them every day." If God faithfully cares for every bird in the sky, how much more does He care for us? Sometimes we worry about tomorrow. Sometimes we wonder if God sees our needs. But every bird flying above us reminds us that our Heavenly Father never forgets His creation. Every fish swimming beneath the waves reminds us that God's care reaches even the deepest parts of the sea. Nothing is hidden from Him. Nothing is outside His loving care. As the birds filled the sky with joyful songs and the fish swam freely through the sparkling waters, God looked at everything He had made. The oceans were alive. The skies were alive. His creation reflected His wisdom, His creativity, and His endless love. And once again, God saw that it was good. Scene 9. God created the animals on the earth. Now the seas were full of life. The sky was filled with birds. The world was becoming more beautiful with every passing day, but one part of creation was still waiting. The land was quiet. God looked across the valleys, the forests, the mountains, and the open fields. Then, he spoke once again. At his word, the earth came alive. Animals began to appear everywhere. Some were large, some were small, some were gentle, some were strong. Each one was carefully created by God. Tall giraffes stretched their long necks toward the highest leaves. Powerful elephants walked across the grasslands with steady steps. Lions rested peacefully beneath the warm sun. Deer ran gracefully through the forests. Zebras wandered together across wide fields. Tiny rabbits hopped through the flowers. Small squirrels hurried from tree to tree gathering food. Even the smallest creatures had a purpose. Every animal was unique. Each one had a different shape, a different voice, a different way of moving. Some could run very fast. Some could climb high into the trees. Some lived in caves. Others made their homes beneath the ground. God designed every creature with perfect wisdom. Nothing was forgotten. Nothing was made by accident. The Creator knew exactly what each animal would need. He gave the elephant its great strength. He gave the giraffe its long neck. He gave the lion courage. He gave the deer quick feet. He gave the rabbit gentle speed. He gave every creature a place to live and food to eat. The earth that had once been silent was now filled with wonderful sounds. Birds sang from the trees. Animals called to one another across the fields. Leaves rustled as creatures moved through the forests. The world was full of joyful life. The beauty of creation showed the greatness of its creator. Even today, we can still see God's wisdom in every animal. Scientists continue discovering amazing things about the natural world. The more we learn, the more we realize how incredible God's design truly is. No two fingerprints are exactly alike. No two snowflakes are the same. In the same way, God made every living creature unique. This also reminds us of something very important. Just as every animal has a purpose, every person has a purpose too. God never creates anything without meaning. Your life is not an accident. You were created with care. You were made with love. The same God who designed every bird, every fish, every flower, and every animal also knows you completely. He knows your name. He knows your heart. He knows your future. Nothing about you surprises him. Nothing about you is hidden from him. As the animals filled the fields, the forests, and the mountains, God looked over the earth once again. The land was now alive with countless creatures, each one reflecting his creativity, his wisdom, and his goodness. And God saw that it was good. Scene 10. God created man. Until now, God had created a beautiful world. There was light and darkness. There were blue skies and flowing rivers. The seas were filled with fish. The skies were filled with birds. The land was covered with flowers, trees, and every kind of animal. Everything was beautiful. Everything was exactly as God had planned. But one special part of creation had not yet come. God was about to create someone unlike anything else. Someone who could think, someone who could love, someone who could know God personally. Then God formed a man from the dust of the ground. This was not an accident. This was not a random event. It was a careful act of love. The same hands that shaped the mountains, the rivers, the stars, and every living creature now carefully formed the first man. His name was Adam. The name Adam reminds us that he came from the earth. Yet God gave him something no other creature received. God breathed the breath of life into him. At that moment, Adam opened his eyes for the very first time. His first breath was a gift from God. His first sight was the beautiful world that God had prepared. He saw the bright blue sky. He heard birds singing. He felt the gentle breeze. He smelled fresh flowers. He looked around with wonder. Everything around him showed God's wisdom and love. Adam was different from all the animals. He was created in the image of God. This does not mean that God has a human body. It means Adam was created to reflect God's character. He could think. He could make choices. He could create. He could speak. He could love. Most importantly, he could have a relationship with God. God wanted Adam to know him, walk with him, and enjoy his presence. Imagine how peaceful that first day must have been. There was no fear, no pain, no sickness, no sadness, no death, only peace, only joy, only perfect friendship between God and man. God gave Adam an important responsibility. He was to care for the beautiful garden. He was to watch over God's creation. This showed that work itself was a good gift from God. Before sin entered the world, work was joyful. It was meaningful. It was part of God's perfect design. As Adam looked at the animals, he began giving each one a name. Perhaps he smiled as the rabbits hopped by. Perhaps he laughed as the monkeys climbed the trees. Perhaps he admired the strength of the elephants and the beauty of the lions. Every animal reflected another part of God's amazing creativity. Today, every human being is still precious to God. No matter where we are from, what language we speak, or what we have done, every person is created in God's image. That means every life has value, every life has purpose, and every person is deeply loved by the Creator. The same God who lovingly created Adam also created you. He knows your name. He knows your thoughts. He understands your joys, your struggles, your hopes, and your fears. You are not forgotten. You are not here by accident. Your life is part of God's wonderful design. As the sun shone across the garden, Adam stood in the beautiful world God had made. Creation was almost complete, but God knew that one thing was still missing. Adam needed someone to share life with, and in the next part of God's story, he would prepare another wonderful gift. Scene 11. God created Eve. Adam lived in a beautiful world. Every morning, he walked through the garden that God had prepared. The trees were full of delicious fruit. Bright flowers covered the fields. Clear rivers flowed gently through the land. Birds sang sweet songs from the branches. Animals wandered peacefully all around him. Everything God had created was good. Yet, God noticed something important. For the first time in creation, God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone." This did not mean that something was wrong with God's creation. Instead, God was showing that people were created for relationships. We are made to love, to care, to encourage, and to share life with one another. God knew exactly what Adam needed, so God caused Adam to fall into a deep, peaceful sleep. While Adam rested, God performed his wonderful work. From one of Adam's ribs, God carefully created a woman. She was not made from the dust as Adam had been. She was created from Adam himself, showing that man and woman belong together. Neither is greater than the other. Both are equally precious. Both are created in God's image. Both have great value. When Adam opened his eyes, he saw someone like himself for the very first time. His heart was filled with joy. He was no longer alone. God had given him the perfect companion. Her name was Eve. She was beautiful, kind, and full of life. Together, Adam and Eve could enjoy God's wonderful creation. They could walk through the garden together. They could care for the animals together. They could worship God together. Their relationship was built on love, trust, and peace. There was no fear, no sadness, no arguments, no jealousy. Everything was exactly as God intended. The first marriage began in the Garden of Eden. It was not created by people. It was created by God Himself. Marriage was God's loving gift, designed to bring companionship, encouragement, and faithful love. As Adam and Eve walked together, they enjoyed perfect friendship with one another and perfect fellowship with God. Every evening, they could hear God's presence in the garden. There was nothing to hide, nothing to fear, only love, only peace. This beautiful story also reminds us that God understands our deepest needs. Sometimes we think we are alone. Sometimes we feel no one understands us, but God always knows what we need, even before we ask Him. He is a loving Father who delights in giving good gifts to His children. He created us to live in loving relationships with Him, with our families, with our friends, and with one another. Most importantly, God desires that every person know Him personally. The same God who lovingly created Eve also knows every detail about your life. He understands your joys. He understands your struggles. He knows your hopes, your dreams, and your fears. And just as He lovingly cared for Adam and Eve, He continues to care for you today. As the sun gently shined over the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve stood together, surrounded by flowers, trees, rivers, and every living creature. The world was now complete. God looked upon His beautiful creation, and His heart was filled with joy. Everything was exactly as He had planned. Scene 12. God loved people very much. The Garden of Eden was peaceful. The trees were full of life. Bright flowers covered the fields. Fresh rivers flowed gently through the land. Birds sang beautiful songs in the morning. Every animal lived in peace. In this perfect place, Adam and Eve lived together. They walked side by side. They worked together. They cared for the garden that God had given them. Most wonderful of all, they spent time with God. God was not far away. He was close to them. He spoke with them. He cared for them. He delighted in being with them. This was the relationship God had always desired. He did not create people because He needed them. God has always been complete. He created people because He wanted to share His love. Love is part of who God is. From the very beginning, His heart was full of kindness, mercy, and compassion. Everything He created for Adam and Eve showed His love. The warm sunshine, the cool evening breeze, the sweet fruit growing on the trees, the colorful flowers blooming everywhere, the clear water flowing through the garden. Every good gift came from God's loving hands. Adam and Eve never had to wonder if God cared for them. They could see His love every single day. His love surrounded them wherever they went. As they looked at the mountains, they saw God's greatness. As they watched the rivers, they saw His provision. As they listened to the birds, they heard songs of joy. As they cared for the animals, they saw His wisdom. Everything around them reminded them of their Creator. God also gave Adam and Eve something very special. He gave them freedom. He did not force them to love Him. Real love must always be given freely. God desired willing hearts, not unwilling obedience. Even today, God still invites people to know Him. He does not force anyone. Instead, He gently calls us to trust Him and to walk with Him. The love God showed Adam and Eve has never changed. The Bible tells us that God is love. His love is patient. His love is faithful. His love never ends. Sometimes life becomes difficult. We experience disappointment, loneliness, or fear. Sometimes we wonder if God still sees us, but the story of creation reminds us that God's heart has always been filled with love for His people. Long before we were born, God already knew us. He planned our lives. He created each of us with care. He knows every tear, every joy, every prayer, every hope hidden inside our hearts. Nothing about your life is invisible to Him. The God who lovingly walked with Adam and Eve still walks beside those who seek Him today. His love is not based on our success. It is not based on our strength. His love comes from His own perfect character. He loves because He is love. As Adam and Eve stood together in the beautiful garden, they experienced the greatest gift anyone could ever receive, the loving presence of God Himself. And that same loving God still invites every person to know Him, to trust Him, and to rest in His everlasting love. Scene 13. God looked at everything He had made. The work of creation was almost complete. The heavens stretched high above the earth. The rivers flowed through green valleys. The mountains stood tall and strong. The forests were filled with life. Birds flew freely through the sky. Fish swam beneath the sparkling waters. Animals wandered peacefully across the fields. Adam and Eve lived together in the beautiful garden. Every part of creation had been carefully planned. Nothing had been forgotten. Nothing had been made without purpose. Then God looked at everything He had created. He did not look quickly. He looked with perfect wisdom. He saw every mountain, every flower, every tree, every bird, every fish, every animal. He saw Adam. He saw Eve. He saw the entire world He had lovingly made. Everything reflected His goodness. Everything reflected His wisdom. Everything reflected His love. There was perfect order. The sun rose each morning. The stars appeared each night. The rivers never stopped flowing. The trees continued to grow. Every living creature had food. Every creature had a home. Creation lived in beautiful harmony. There was no fear, no sickness, no pain, no death, no sadness, no broken relationships. The world was exactly as God had intended it to be. Sometimes after we finish a project, we immediately notice the mistakes. We see what could have been better. But God is perfect. His work is perfect. Nothing needed to be improved, nothing was missing, nothing had failed. The Bible tells us that God's works are wonderful. Every detail of creation shows His wisdom. The smallest flower, the largest mountain, the tiny wings of a butterfly, the powerful waves of the sea. Everything reveals the greatness of the Creator. Even today, when we watch a beautiful sunrise or stand beneath a sky full of stars or listen to birds singing, we are reminded that God is an amazing designer. Creation still points our hearts toward Him. Many people search for purpose in life. They wonder, why am I here? The story of creation gives us an answer. We were created by God. We belong to Him. Our lives have meaning because our Creator has purpose. We are not accidents. We are not forgotten. The same God who carefully designed the universe also carefully designed each one of us. He knows every heartbeat, every thought, every dream, every prayer. His eyes are always upon His children. Nothing escapes His attention. As God looked across the world He had made, His heart was filled with joy. His creation reflected His glory. His love could be seen everywhere. The beautiful earth, the living creatures, and the first man and woman all revealed the goodness of their Creator. The story of creation reminds us that when God looks at His work, He sees it completely, and His perfect wisdom declares that His plans are always good. Scene 14. God said, "It is very good." The work of creation was now complete. The heavens stretched across the sky. The earth was full of beauty. The rivers sparkled beneath the sunlight. The mountains stood proudly in the distance. The forests were alive with birds singing joyful songs. The flowers opened their colorful petals toward the warm light. Every fish, every bird, every animal, every tree, and every person had been created with perfect care. Nothing had been forgotten. Nothing had been misplaced. Everything had a purpose. Then God looked once more at everything He had made. He saw the light that had pushed away the darkness. He saw the blue sky above. He saw the seas, the rivers, and the dry land. He saw the trees filled with fruit. He saw flowers blooming across the valleys. He saw the birds flying freely through the air. He saw fish swimming through the clear waters. He saw every animal walking peacefully upon the earth. He saw Adam and Eve, the people He loved so deeply. Everything was exactly as He had planned. Then God spoke. "It is very good," not simply good, very good. These words came from the perfect Creator. God does not make mistakes. His wisdom is complete. His goodness is perfect. When He said, "It is very good," He declared that His creation was complete, beautiful, and exactly as He intended. Imagine Adam and Eve standing quietly in the garden. The warm sunlight filled the land. A gentle breeze moved through the trees. The sound of flowing water filled the air. Birds continued singing from the branches. Every living creature rested peacefully. The whole world reflected God's glory. There was perfect harmony. The heavens praised their Creator. The earth displayed His beauty. Life itself became a testimony of His goodness. Even today, when we see a rainbow after the rain, or watch the sun rise over the mountains, or hear waves gently reaching the shore, we catch a small glimpse of the beauty God first created. Creation still whispers the truth about its Maker. The Bible tells us that the heavens declare the glory of God. Every sunrise reminds us of His faithfulness. Every season reminds us of His wisdom. Every flower reminds us of His creativity. Every heartbeat reminds us that life itself is His gift. Sometimes we become so busy that we forget to notice the beauty around us. We hurry through each day. We worry about tomorrow. We carry heavy burdens. But creation quietly invites us to stop, to breathe, and to remember our Creator. The God who made the mountains also watches over your life. The God who fills the sky with stars also knows every detail about you. The God who called His creation very good still desires to bring goodness into our lives today. His plans are always wiser than ours. His timing is always perfect. His love never changes. As the light of the day gently filled the garden, God smiled upon His creation. The heavens, the earth, every living creature, and the first man and woman all reflected His perfect goodness, and the Creator joyfully declared, "It is very good." Scene 15. Everything was very good. Now the world was complete. The sky stretched far above the earth. The rivers flowed gently through the valleys. The mountains stood strong beneath the blue sky. The forests were filled with life. Flowers covered the fields with beautiful colors. Every part of creation worked together in perfect harmony. God looked across the whole earth. He saw the mighty elephant walking peacefully beside the river. He saw the tall giraffe reaching high into the trees for fresh leaves. He saw the lion resting quietly with strength and dignity. He saw the gentle deer standing without fear. The little rabbit hopped through the soft grass. The squirrel climbed happily among the branches. The colorful birds filled the air with joyful songs. Far above the sea, white birds floated gracefully on the wind. In the deep blue water, schools of fish swam together. Bright orange fish, small blue fish, golden fish, and tiny creatures hidden beneath the coral reefs all moved exactly as God had designed them. The dolphins leaped high above the waves, playing in the sunlight before diving back into the sparkling sea. Even the tiny butterfly, the little frog, and the slow-moving turtle had their own special place in God's wonderful creation. No creature was forgotten. Every animal mattered to its creator. Each one was different, yet each one reflected God's wisdom. Some were strong, some were fast, some were small, some could fly, some could swim, some walked quietly across the earth. Together they formed a beautiful world filled with endless variety. God delighted in every living thing. Nothing existed by accident. Every feather, every leaf, every flower, every heartbeat, and every breath of life came from the loving hands of God. The Bible says, God saw everything that He had made, and indeed, it was very good. Those words tell us something wonderful about God's heart. He is not only powerful enough to create the universe, He is also loving enough to care about every detail. When we look at nature today, we can still see small reminders of His goodness. A bird singing in the morning, a gentle stream flowing through the forest, the colorful wings of a butterfly, the peaceful sound of ocean waves, the quiet beauty of a sunset. All of these point us back to the Creator. Sometimes life feels confusing. Sometimes we wonder if we matter. But this story reminds us that the God who created every animal, every flower, and every star also created each one of us. He knows our names. He understands our hearts. He never forgets His children. Just as every animal had a purpose, your life also has a purpose. You were not created by chance. You were created by God with wisdom, with love, and with great care. As the day slowly came to an end, the whole earth rested in perfect peace. The birds settled into the trees. The animals rested safely. The rivers continued their quiet song. The gentle wind moved through the fields. Everything reflected the goodness of its Creator. God looked upon His beautiful creation one final time. His heart was filled with joy. Everything He had made was complete. Everything was beautiful. Everything was exactly as He intended. And God said, "It is very good." Scene 16. God rested and was pleased. The sixth day had come to an end. The world was complete. The bright sky stretched across the earth. The rivers flowed quietly through the valleys. The mountains stood tall beneath the golden light. The forests were full of life. The birds sang from the trees. The fish swam peacefully beneath the clear water. The animals rested safely across the fields and forests. Adam and Eve walked together through the beautiful garden. Everything was exactly where it should be. Nothing was missing. Nothing was broken. Everything God had planned had been finished. The Bible tells us God was pleased with everything He had made. God looked over the entire world. He saw the stars that would shine every night. He saw the sun that would warm the earth every morning. He saw the oceans filled with countless living creatures. He saw the flowers blooming across the hills. He saw the trees covered with fresh green leaves and sweet fruit. He saw every animal, from the largest elephant to the smallest butterfly. He saw Adam and Eve, the first man and woman created in His own image. God smiled with joy. Everything reflected His wisdom. Everything reflected His goodness. Everything reflected His love. The Bible also tells us in Genesis 1:31, God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. These simple words carry a beautiful message. God does not create anything without purpose. Every mountain has a purpose. Every river has a purpose. Every flower has a purpose. Every bird, every fish, every tree, every person. All were created by God with great love and perfect wisdom. That includes you. Sometimes we wonder why we are here. Sometimes life becomes difficult. Sometimes we feel small in such a big world. But the Creator who made the heavens and the earth also made you. He knows your name. He knows your thoughts. He knows your joys and your struggles. Nothing about your life is hidden from Him. When God created the world, He was not simply making beautiful things. He was preparing a home for the people He loved. From the very beginning, God desired to have a relationship with His children. He wanted them to walk with Him, to trust Him, and to enjoy the wonderful world He had made. As evening came, a peaceful silence filled the earth. The breeze moved gently through the trees. The river reflected the warm light of the setting sun. Birds returned to their nests. Animals rested peacefully. The whole creation seemed to whisper, "Our Creator is good." Then came the seventh day. God did not rest because He was tired. The all-powerful Creator never grows weak. Instead, He rested because his work was complete. His rest became a blessing. It reminds us that life is not only about working, it is also about stopping, looking around, giving thanks, and enjoying the goodness of God. Even today, when we pause from our busy lives, we remember the one who created everything. We remember his faithfulness. We remember his love. We remember that this beautiful world did not happen by chance. It came from the hands of a loving creator. As we come to the end of this journey through Genesis chapter 1, take a quiet moment to look around you. Perhaps you can hear birds outside your window. Perhaps you can see the blue sky, the trees, the clouds, or the stars at night. Each one quietly points back to God. Every sunrise reminds us of his faithfulness. Every flower reminds us of his creativity. Every breath reminds us of his gift of life. May we never forget that the same God who created the universe also watches over us each day. May our hearts be filled with gratitude. May our lives reflect his goodness. And may we always remember the beautiful truth spoken at the very beginning of the Bible. God saw everything he had made, and it was very good. Amen.